2017, so what does that mean? That means we got a new Transformer movie coming. Transformers 5, The Last Night. So, new toy line coming out, new wave of stuff, but what does that also mean? That means we got that first wave of obscurity, that stuff that kicks off. And just like with Age of Extinction, we have a lot of interesting repaints for the lower class scale stuff. So, today on Protoman of Protoretro, we're going to be doing Barricade, the Legion scale of Transformers 5. So, let's do this. Protoretro. The Legion class, or the Legends class as it used to be known, has always been a cornerstone of these movie lines and really went into a whole different direction with Transformers 4, Age of Extinction, where the Legend class more existed to just be repaints of old molds from all kinds of different lines as those movie characters. And that's what we kind of have with Transformers 5 with Barricade. He is not Barricade as we know him from the movie. It actually uses the mold from Transformers Prime Blue Streak, or more specifically, the Prowl retool. We'll get to that when we open the toy, but we're just going to talk about the packaging for 5 seconds. It has packaging art which totally doesn't match the robot mode face, again being a repaint of another character. No bio on it. Bare bones Legion class toy with a price point bump, which people better get ready for that in retail. So let's crack them open. So traditionally, like always, I like to start in vehicle mode, even though it is packaged in robot mode. As I said before, this isn't the first time that the movie line has used prime molds to make modern characters. With Age of Extinction, we had a Grimlock toy that was using one of the Abominus limbs to make Grimlock, which didn't work to a very successful attempt, but nonetheless they did it anyways to just pad out their Legends line. So it's the same thing we got here, where we have a Barricade that is pretty much a repaint of Prowl from the Prime line, which more specifically, we'll bring in every Legends iteration at that point, started with Blue Streak over there. So what is kind of lost, which is a shame, is because it uses the Prowl mold, is now it doesn't have the hole on the top, because it's crazy glued, the light bar, so you can't use the weapon gimmick that was very predominant with a lot of the Transformer Prime molds, where they had a whole bunch of weapons that you could choose from, and even Prowl had the Justice Hammer, which I did a review on a while back. So yeah, that's kind of lost. But otherwise, I mean, it does the job fine. What I do find funny, though, is it's not the first time the Blue Streak mold has been used for a Barricade character, though, which really is really funny when you put it next to each other. This is the Transformers Collector Club 3.0 Barricade. The continuity that was supposed to be based on was more the Prime continuity, but I mean, now it's really funny that this came out more than 2 years before, or 3 years before, and now this comes out, but this, when it's going to have its deluxe toy, is going to look nothing like this. So it's really weird that this exists. I guess for some weird people, this could be repurposed as their Transformers Prime Barricade within their Legends class continuity. I don't know. But it's just, I find that really funny that they have that. So it's going to be even more funny when we do the robot mode and everything, when we transform it, which I think we will probably do now. So I did a little cut there so I could transform everything offhand to compare, which I'll get into in a moment. So transformation, because it's a Legion or a leader class, is very simple. Just legs go down like this, and then arms go out like that. It's, you already see halfway what's going on, more or less. It's a very simple toy. I've reviewed this mold in the past with the Transformers Prime Prowl, so it's not much that needs to be said really about the transformation. But I do want to talk about that mold. So let's just get them all lined up here and zoom in. Now, it's hard to go through, to show really through in the camera, but there's very little paint that's put on this, which is kind of sad. He has very, very lightly used red used on the eyes, and that's pretty much it from head to toe, which is a shame. but it's a reality of what was done here for this mold. Now let's bring in his repaint brothers for a second. We'll bring in Prowl first, because that's pretty much the mold straight up that it's being used from. And Prowl also was kind of bare bones, but at least that had, you know, details on the door and stuff. Maybe, you know, they could have, I don't know, maybe they could have made an effort to put at least a little line across the door to put the punish and enslave. I don't know, maybe a little something else. Then we'll bring in everyone else, the repaint of Blue Streak that looks more smokescreen, and then Blue Streak himself. Now, as I mentioned also, in the sense that these guys all had that weapon gimmick. So you could still use that for the robot mode if you want, but I mean, at the same time, it's not packaged with it. So unfortunately, you'll have to probably pick up another Transformer Prime toy of that scale to do it. But otherwise, it still works. It's very, very unfortunate that he didn't include something, but it still works. What I would suggest personally, and I'll get into the larger interpretations of these characters right now. Let's see. We'll bring in Blue Streak with his larger Blue Streak. We'll bring in Prowl with his larger Prowl. And then, of course, Barricade with Barricade. I'll try to do a wide shot there. There we go. Barricade and Prowl, because they were both repaints and retools of the original Blue Streak, came with a gun. So I guess if you got the gun that came with Blue Streak there, you could give it to Barricade and he'll be able at least to have something. But it's kind of a shame that he's pretty bare bones, which is bizarre, and I've sometimes wonder why they didn't just go with all the bunch of Barricade Legends class scale, Legion class as it's called today, from the 2007 line of the Transformers movie. Maybe because that mold has been repainted to death and they just wanted to use something fresh and new. Maybe the mold is finished and so they couldn't use it anymore. Personally, if it was available, maybe I would have just taken it and just done a retooling of the face, because from what it looks like with the art and what we've seen online, there's at least a new face for Barricade, where he doesn't have his old, 2007 movie face. So maybe give a new face for that old 2007 mold. I don't know. But it's kind of disappointing, personally. I would have preferred that. And as much as I like the Blue Streak mold for Blue Streak, I don't think it works for Barricade in this case. And even, when they had this one here done, that works for a Barricade within a Prime continuity if they want to use that, but this is supposed to be a movie toy, and much like the Grimlock of the Transformers 4 Age of Extinction, its aesthetic just didn't work, just didn't fit in, and so I can't really recommend it. And on top of that, because it's kind of a really bare bones repaint, there really isn't much going in terms of they didn't really go out on the paint job, and on top of all that, doesn't come with a weapon. And the worst thing of all is all of these new Transformers 5 toys have had a huge bump in price point. So you're talking, at least in Canada, it's a $9.99, Legion class figure, where those used to be a $7.99 price point. So that's a big bump up. And I believe in the States it's $7.99 in American, where it used to be $4.99 for them. So that's, that's a big pill to swallow for something that really is bare bones. When not too long ago we were getting the same scale, it came with a weapon, and it was a lot cheaper. So that's all I could really say. Otherwise, it's a movie toy, and I might pick up some of the others to talk about if they are interesting enough that are worth talking about. I will pick them up one way or another, but to do videos, I'll think about it. Depends what that catches my fancy. Maybe when that Hot Rod comes out, that'll probably be a given. That's one I'll definitely want to do, but all the others we'll decide as time progresses. But till that, this is Protoman of Protoretro, and this has been a video review of Transformers 5, The Last Night Barricade. A kind of a letdown. But until then, guys, take care, and as always, roll out.
Hey guys, like what you saw? Want to see more? Then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe this video. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and like the Facebook group for all the latest updates from Protoman of Protoretro.